Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out the card game Cypher. It's for 2 to 4 players for ages 14 and up, and the average play time is about 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how quickly a particular card comes up. So this game, players take on the shoes of nameless factions. No faction is better than another, but basically your job is to collect or recruit these characters by playing them in front of you. And each of these characters have different abilities, sort of like in Love Letter, and they also have influence points, and your goal is to try and get as much influence as you can. The player with the most influence at the end of the game will win. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at the components and see how the game is played. Components and game setup. The game came in this drawstring bag. Great material, by the way, very nice and soft. You've got 4 reference cards, you've got an instruction booklet. As you can see, there's a number of pages here, but it's not all that difficult to understand. Most of it is just reference material for what the different cards do. Like I was saying, there's different abilities on these cards. But anyway, getting back to the game, there are 19 cards in this deck. To set everything up, the deck is shuffled, and each player receives a certain number of cards. The starting player, let's say that this was the starting player, they receive 3 cards. The player to the right of the starting player receives 1 card, and then everyone else receives 2 cards. Then you're going to flip 1 card face up to start the discard pile. Alright, next I'd like to quickly show you how a typical turn plays out without going into the card effects. It's just easier to show you what gameplay flows like without going into the card effects, because these card effects do mix and match. You know, some will discard others and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do is just explain a typical turn without resolving anything. Now the first thing that'll happen on your turn is you're going to play 1 card from your hand and resolve it. You can have 3 cards in front of you at a time. If you lay down a 4th card, you have to discard 1 card, and whenever you discard 1, by the way, it goes onto the bottom of the draw deck. It does not go on top of the discard pile. Whenever someone does take from here, which I'll get to in a minute, you'll simply replace it. But anyway, getting back to this, you'll have 3 cards in your hand at the beginning of your turn. You're going to play 1 card face up in front of you, and then you're going to resolve its effect. So, example, when played, switch positions with the corporate overseer. Again, I'm not going to get into the special effects right now. So now you'll have 2 cards in your hand. After that, you're going to draw 1 card. You can take from either here or here. If you take from here, you flip a card face up for the next player on their turn. Let's just say I take from here. Alright, so now I have 3 cards in my hand again, okay, and then the next thing I do on my turn is pass 1 card to the player on my left. So I'm going to take a look at this and just say, okay, I'm going to pass this one over here, like so, and then I have to pass a card to the player on my right. So let's say I want to give him this one, okay, and then I discard down to 1 card at the end of my turn, which I have discard. I only have 1 card to begin with, but some card abilities will allow you to draw more cards and so on and so forth. But what you're going to do at the end of your turn, make sure you have 1 card left, and then play passes on to the next player, and they're going to repeat the process. They're going to play 1 card from their hand, resolve its effects, they're going to draw 1 card, let's say they take from here, they're going to replenish this, and then they're going to pass a card to their left and then to their right, so he's going to play 1 there, and then he's going to pass 1 over here, and then he's going to keep this 1 and make sure he discards down to 1. He's going to have 1 card left at the end of his turn, and then play is going to continue around the table like this until a particular card is played. Alright, so the card that you're looking for that ends the game, or triggers the end of the game, is called this Cypher Anomaly. Let's just say that this player, plays his turn out as appropriate. He plays 1 card, resolves its effect. This is the Cypher Anomaly card. Now this player will continue playing out his turn as normal, so he's going to draw a card from the deck or from the discard pile there. He's going to pass 1 off. And again, I'm doing this without any regard to the special effects. And then each other player takes 1 final turn, including the player that put down the card in the first place. Once everyone has had 1 final turn, then they'll take a look at the numbers in the upper left-hand corner of the cards in their play area. So this is a 9 and a 4, so that's 13. 1 and 3 is 4, 3 and 4 is 7, 6 and 4 is 10, this is 0. So 9 and 4 wins the game with 13 here. And of course this is without regard to any of the special effects. So in theory this player would win the game because they have the most influence. The Game can also end if the deck runs out, but in most cases this card will probably be played first because there are 2 of these in a deck. Each card has little dots in the upper right hand corner. That tells you their rarity or how often they come up in the deck. And that's basically all there is to it when it comes to playing Cypher. Alright, so before we go, I just wanted to quickly read off some of these card abilities to you so you can see what they're all about. One thing I didn't show you up to this point was that these cards are classified under one of 3 categories. There's a lower class, middle class, and upper class. You can see these little symbols on the bottom left here. And basically, they sort of help you decide if you want to put this card in front of you. Because like I was saying earlier, these cards will sort of mesh with each other a little bit. The lower class doesn't get along with the upper class, and so on and so forth. So you want to, pay attention to what class a particular card is to get an idea as to whether or not it would be a good idea to lay them down in your play area with the other cards you have there. But the Cypher Anomaly, for example, cannot be played if you don't have any other characters in your play area. When played, draw 1 card, then add it to your play area or discard it. This triggers the end of the game. I didn't do that in that prior example. Extractor, when played, draw 3 cards, then choose 1 card from your hand and remove it from the game permanently face down. The Technomancer, when played, all other players must discard all upper class cards from their play area. While in play, you may discard Bodyguard to ignore other players' effects. Executive, when played, switch positions with the Corporate Overseer. Coder, when in play, you may draw 2 more cards when you are drawing cards. Corporate Overseer, when played, discard all lower class cards from your play area. So like I was saying, this guy is upper class. You can see he's got the purple triangle on the very top there filled in. So, this guy does not mesh well with the lower class, and vice versa with that other card that we saw. So there you have it, a quick, small taste as to what some of these card abilities do. Okay, so there you have it, a very brief look at the game Cypher. It's important to stress that I did not cover all of the rules found in the manual. This was just to give you a general overview so that you could see how the game was played. As far as what I thought, and I have to keep this brief because I'm relatively busy, I got stuff to do, but I think this game is a good alternative to Love Letter. And it actually has a leg up in some ways. For example, Love Letter and Lost Legacy Starship, which is another game I have, they all involve player elimination. Cypher does not have player elimination. That's one thing I do really like about this game. In Love Letter, when people are eliminated, they sit on their thumbs and wait for other players to finish. Granted, Love Letter doesn't take all that long to play, so you're only going to be waiting a minute or 2 for the other players to finish. But if you're impatient, then that could be a very long 1 or 2 minutes, But Cypher, you don't have player elimination, so people will be engaged from beginning to end. So that's one way that this game, I think, has a leg up on Love Letter and Lost Legacy Starship. And it's also sort of like Lost Legacy Starship in the sense that in Lost Legacy Starship, you're looking for a particular card to end the game. And in this game, you're doing the same thing. There's that Cypher Anomaly card that you're always on the lookout for. And, does this player have it? Does this player have it? When can they end the game? Should I get my cards out now? Should I wait on this one? That kind of thing. It's a game about timing and when you think players are going to be, ready to end the game. So yeah, Cypher is a very interesting game, great alternative to Love Letter, so if you like Love Letter, then go check this one out too. Again, no player elimination, and that may appeal to some people, so it appeals to me. So if you want to see my written review, you can, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, that way you can keep up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.